So it's a task being described as a challenge for generations, rebuilding Ukraine after Russia's invasion. EU leaders are meeting in Germany to lay out what's being called a new Marshall Plan. Germany's chancellor says the reconstruction will require combined international strength. It's estimated it will cost at least $200 billion to repair the infrastructure. Mohammed Jamjoom is joining us from Kyiv to talk to us about the damage to infrastructure that you've been seeing in Kyiv, Mohammed.
Sure. Let me just first address, Doreen, what we've heard today from the Ukrainian president, from Volodymyr Zelensky. He spoke virtually to that conference dedicated to the reconstruction of Ukraine in Berlin. And he said that there should be a legal and concrete mechanism for compensating for losses suffered by Ukraine at the expense of Russian assets. Now, as far as what we've seen here, you don't have to go too far outside of the capital where we are to experience just what the fighting has done to this country. We went just a couple of days ago to the city of Irpin. That's just outside of Kyiv. It's in the Kyiv region. And that's where there was very heavy fighting in the early days of the war. It stands as a symbol of Ukrainian resistance because you had them repelling Russian advances, and Russian forces eventually withdrew from that area. But what we saw there, Doreen, was shocking. Months after Russian forces withdrew, you had apartment blocks that were still lying in ruin, where no reconstruction had taken place, to the point that you have the Building Ownership Association. They put signs on the side of the building asking for private donations and providing bank details for those who wish to donate. In the city of Irpin, just one example in this country, you have over 1,000 buildings that were damaged as a result of the fighting. You have over 100 that were destroyed completely. So that's just a snapshot of where things are in this country. Now, the Kyiv School of Economics just in September estimated that it would take at least $200 billion to begin to repair the damage to this country's infrastructure. The reason I bring that up is because that was before this recent wave of massive attacks by Russia that started on October 10th, missiles and such targeting critical infrastructure throughout the country, and especially the power grid. Up to 30 to 40% of the power grid has been heavily damaged in these attacks by missile, attacks by drone over the course of the past couple of weeks. I spoke in the last couple of hours to the president of the Kyiv School of Economics. He says he estimates now the toll as far as how much it would take to try to start rebuilding the infrastructure in this country would be perhaps around $240 billion. So that just goes to show how much worse it's getting. This is at a time when temperatures are dropping, when there are concerns about the electricity and winter approaching because the power grid has been so damaged, and people are really worried about what's going to happen to them going forward. And they're really concerned that Russia is going to try to weaponize the winter.
All right,
Denny?
Thank you so much. Mohammed Jamjoom reporting from Kyiv.